All right, this is my mom. We're going to try something. So we are in Springfield, Missouri. I'm home for Christmas. And we are drinking a beer called Mother's Little Helper. Mom, tell us about Mother's Little Helper.
Well, Mother's Brewing Company is about 4 blocks from here in Springfield, Missouri, and it's considered to be the fastest growing microbrewery in the country right now. I mean, it's just exploded over the last couple of years. And they have several different types, but this is Mother's Little Helper, and Addie and I are celebrating being mothers and daughters and not responsible for anybody except for having a good time.
Well, it's interesting because Mother's Little Helper, that was a long time, for a long time sort of like the joke for prescription drugs for moms, like in the 50s and 60s. I don't know if you had ever heard of that.
Well, the only thing that I remember is the Mother's Little Helper might be a cocktail hour.
Yeah, exactly.
That was very underground, though, in central, in
Southwest
Missouri.
Southwest
Certainly
Missouri,
didn't have mothers getting drunk together. They had, Mother's Little Helper might be just a coffee at somebody's house, and then all the kids played together, and that was how they survived. It was just kids entertaining each other while mothers got drunk on coffee, I guess.
Yeah. But you certainly probably wouldn't have moms and daughters having a beer together.
No.
Yeah. Well, so that I think is a good lead into. I've been wanting to do this with you. With the Feminist Kitchen is I write and think a lot about feminism and food and cooking and women and cooking. And I have always wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on where feminism fit into your life with regard to food and cooking, perhaps, or maybe without that answer.
Well, I came from my last name was Cook, and so I really believe...
But you married a Broyles. Isn't that funny?
So I believe that sometimes your name and your family traditions are centered around what your name is, but the role of being a mom and so forth, and feminism, I don't know. I think that to be in the kitchen is a choice, and the difference in the feminist role and growing up in the 60s and 70s is the fact that it's a choice and something enjoyable, whereas before it was a drudgery or it was a duty. Mm-hmm. And I think feminism took the duty out of the role of being a wife and a mother and all of that, and it became a choice and a hobby. And now there's so many men involved in the world of cooking and all that. It's sort of taken a different spin on what traditional roles are and so forth. So, I don't know. Right. Is that what you?
But but it sounds like you benefited directly from feminism. You graduated from high school in '72. I hope that's not a secret.
No, I'm proud of my age.
Good. And then got married that same year, and you tell a really funny story about Hamburger Helper. That when they first got married, you can tell it.
Well, I made Hamburger Helper, which was kind of like the cutting edge. It was Mother's Little Helper. It was cutting edge of cooking. If you discovered all these new little products,
and you embraced that because it meant that you had other time to do other things, like go to college or
But to go to a store, I mean, it was very unusual to go to the store and have a meal half prepared for you. We didn't think about nutrition. There weren't any labels. Yeah. It was just, hey, this is fun, So, but anyway, the only art in making a Hamburger Helper is the size of the crumbles of the hamburger, which I failed in because my husband, who was proficient in Hamburger Helper, liked his little balls of hamburger in tiny little pieces, whereas mine were just chunks. I don't know if I was too lazy to chunk it up or whatever. But
I like it in chunks. I don't like it.
And he wouldn't eat it. That was one of the first meals that I prepared after we moved into our first apartment.
And one of your first fights, if I remember. Yeah. And so they
cheeseburger hamburger helper. I failed. Yeah. Cheeseburger hamburger helper. So it was then that I realized that maybe he should just take it for himself.
So did he?
In the kitchen. Well, His was shit on a shingle.
We can say that. It's
tuna crab with peas in it.
On a piece of toast. Which I remember having as a kid too. But now even, I think because the shared house with my grandmother in Aurora, not very far from here, and where they split the cooking duties. And I think Dad, I've seen him. He has ownership over the grill as a typical, I think, Midwestern father might. But like you guys made the chili yesterday, that it was a joint effort where you got most of it going, but then he sort of put his own influence on it, and then.
Well, I just happened to invite him to do that because I knew he was going to anyway. He steps right